Let's go over an update for Star Wars Episode 9 when it comes to writer and director JJ Abrams. This is Mike Zero here. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, these past couple of weeks, we've been learning a whole lot more about the final film in the sequel trilogy, and these past couple of days, we've been hearing about everything that has been happening behind the scenes over at Disney and Lucasfilm, etc., and what's happening with Kathleen Kennedy and all as president of Lucasfilm. In fact, it looks like Kathleen Kennedy may very well be coming to an end sooner than we think, so I'll have to wait and see exactly what happens. If you guys would like to learn more about that, go ahead and check out my past couple of other videos. But today I wanted to discuss JJ Abrams and Star Wars Episode 9. Now what's really interesting about all of this is that he goes over the movie a little bit, and he goes over, what it's like facing the fans and everything when you're making a Star Wars movie. And this is what JJ had to say. So, he states, "I was terrified, and luckily I was surrounded by incredible people when talking about when he first went on to Star Wars Episode 7. And we had a lot of fun, and being back for Episode 9 is as surreal as it gets, and I'm really excited. These are the fans that are as scary as it is. To put yourself in that firing squad, the opportunity is always bigger than the fear. Having a script in advance is something I've always been lucky enough to have." Now, JJ Abrams also goes on to say that Chris Terrio is indeed a genius. Now, what's great about having two writers for a movie is that you have, of course, one guy weighing in on the other writer's opinions and trying to sort things out as you're writing the script. So having two big creatives, in charge of a script for a major motion picture is honestly a very good idea, and I think that's one of the great things that Disney did after they dropped Colin Trevorrow. It would have been one thing to just have JJ Abrams, but it's perfect enough to have two writers working on this very important movie. Now, ever since The Last Jedi released back in December of 2017, we've seen the backlash, we've seen the criticism going against the film and writer and director Rian Johnson based on a lot of the decisions that he implemented in the movie. Now, looking at what JJ Abrams had to say here is that these are the fans that are scary as it is to put yourself in that firing squad. The opportunity is always bigger than the fear. Now, JJ Abrams realizes, exactly, what he's dealing with. This movie has to be a great movie. And in fact, if it's not going to be a great movie, these directors, these writers, they know exactly how the fans will react. So, looking at everything that happened with The Last Jedi, I'm really crossing my fingers that we don't get a repeat of that with JJ Abrams, Chris Terrio in Star Wars Episode 9. Now, like I said many times before in the past, I do have faith in Episode 9, and that this movie will in fact be the best movie of the sequel trilogy. I've stated this numerous times that I really do believe that this sequel trilogy is going to mirror that of the prequel trilogy, where the first two films are not as great as the final movie in the trilogy. Now, the portion in which JJ explains how he's always lucky enough to have a script in advance, and especially when it comes to Star Wars Episode 9 with himself and Chris Terrio, they were able to get a script in just a couple of months. So this really does raise a ton of questions as well. Now, a lot of people are indeed fearing that what if this script was actually rushed because of firing Colin Trevorrow and having to rewrite the entire script. Now, this is technically now the third script for Star Wars Episode 9. We had the original one by Colin before Carrie Fisher's death. Then he had to try and rewrite it after Carrie Fisher's death, and that didn't do too well. And Colin wanted a third shot. And this is, of course, when JJ Abrams and Chris Terrio came on board and they rewrote the entire story. So, looking at the fact that they will indeed begin filming this July, it really does bring up the question here. The fact that both Chris Terrio and JJ got this script done faster, way faster than expected, could this very well be a fear that maybe this script was rushed? I'm not quite sure how you guys feel about that. And like I've said many times before as well in my past videos, I just wish that JJ was actually on board with each and every Star Wars movie in the sequel trilogy. Now sure, he did most of them, he did The Force Awakens and he's doing Episode 9, but I think it would have been so much better if he wrote both Episode 7, 8, and 9 and directed all three movies consistently. I think that we would have had a nice trilogy in plan and everything would have actually flowed a whole lot better than having different directors on board and different writers that were fired, let go, or quit, or just, moved away from the projects. I think that's why we do indeed see some inconsistencies within the sequel trilogy, because it seems like each and every movie, the director and writer will just do whatever they want and disregard what the writer or director did in the last movie. A great example has all to do with Rian Johnson, where he even stated himself that he really couldn't find a way to fit in the Knights of Ren within the story of The Last Jedi. And if you ask me, guys, I really do believe that he could have honestly found a way to bring in the Knights of Ren if he really wanted to. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think about JJ Abrams and everything that has been going on within the Star Wars community and the actual franchise itself. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. And thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.